Welcome to video 1, Logic by Urban Forex. Now, you may have some understanding of how the markets work and this and that and some ideas of I know this indicator, I've been in the industry for 1 year, 2 years. Look, I want you to understand one thing and I want you to respect it as much as you can. You're here now, okay? Which means there's something you're looking to improve. I want you to give that thought the benefit of the doubt. Which means you have to put aside your I know attitude and put it aside, because what we're going to do is we're going to deconstruct everything you might possibly know and rebuild it correctly from the ground up. Yes, I meant ground up, as if I'm going to treat you as if you know nothing about trading. Okay? Because sometimes this preconceived notion of I know how trading works, I've been in the industry for 2 years, can jade your idea and your logic of thinking correctly. Okay? So we're going to erase all of that, and we're just going to say, as if I'm the guy from Men in Black and I come here and I take that silver thing, go bzz. Okay, now you've known nothing about Forex. Let's start from square one. Okay? So logic. Okay? So to understand logic a bit, everything revolves around the big boy in the market. Now, when you say big boy, what I'm referring to as the big boy, as one entity, actually comprises of a lot of people. You know, there's banks involved, there's hedge funds, there's governments, big corporations, all of that together, I'm calling big boy, right? Like one individual, the big boy, or the big boys if you want to call it. Okay? So the logic is they have so much money that once something happens in the market, they're looking to move that money as an investment for that long-term period. Now, what does that mean? Look at the buildings behind me, okay? Let's assume I have inside information that this city, Dubai, is going to be a really hot city in 2025. Now, I know this information now. Okay, let's say I'm the big boy, all right? For example, the banks, the hedge funds, corporations, that's all me, one individual. Okay? So I suddenly know this information that Dubai is going to be extremely hot in 2025. Hot as in very, very lucrative place to be. So right now I'm going to start building. Okay? I'm going to start building all these buildings behind me, and I'm going to say, okay, while the economy is quiet and low, I'm going to buy as many buildings and properties as I can to get ready for 2025. That's the logic of the big boy. The logic of the small trader, unfortunately, doesn't show up on his radar until 2025 when things skyrocket, and then it comes into his rear view mirror. It's like, wait a minute, have you seen Dubai? Man, it's crazy. Why don't we go and buy a house in Dubai? Sounds familiar? This happens a lot around the world in any investment in any category. Okay? It is not the big boy is saying, how can I cheat the little man? It's not like that. It is the understanding of what do they know versus what do we not know. Fair enough, right? So we need to calm down and throw the complaining out the window first. Think positively and be like, how can we be more knowledgeable and understand the whole situation and how the money is operating? Because it is only then we can become better than the current version of ourselves, right? That's the end goal. We're not trying to compete with anybody. We're just trying to be a better version of ourselves where we can look back and be like, oh, you see how I was a year ago? Oh, that's hilarious, right? So we want to be a better version of ourselves. So let's take that same example. So I'm building these buildings behind me for a price of $5 million each. Okay? Now, as I'm building this first building to my right here, for example, this one, I'm building it for $5 million. It's a very nice building, and someone's questioning, like, wait a minute, why is this big boy building so quickly here? Is there something he knows that we don't know? The market tends to get a little bit of excitement going. Okay? All I have to do is stop all construction and the market will say, maybe there's a recession. The big boys are no longer building. This will cause people to panic and start selling their properties and saying, I don't want to buy it anymore. Dubai is a very dangerous place to invest in. and I carefully at that point get back into the market and build and build and build and build. And as it gets closer to 2025, all right, 2023, market starts to pick up. The value of my $5 million building has become $10 million. At 2025 becomes $20 million. And better yet, now that it's $20 million, all the news headlines are covering it. Every Tom, Dick, and Harry is talking about it. My uncle, my aunt, my auntie, they're all talking about it. And they're all saying, why don't we get a house in Dubai? Why don't we get that studio apartment in Dubai that cost $1 million of investment? But it's worth it because Dubai's on a rise, so it's going to continue rising. When the reality is, you should have invested long time ago with that larger player. So as the trader who's coming in 2025 to get involved, the logic is all wrong. The logic is all wrong. Yes, it's growing. You can see that by past performance, but you're entering at a prime market where the big boy might be saying, now sell at very expensive prices and offload. Okay? Because this is an expensive market. There will be willingness to buy. The market will come in saying, yeah, I'll buy it. I'll buy that studio for $2 million. I'll buy the studio for $5 million. Great. Here you go. One studio for you for $1 million. One studio for you for $2 million. Great. I can now offload for a hefty profit. And these guys, the retail traders, basically are coming in looking to make more profit, unfortunately, right? So they're getting steamrolled over, unfortunately, by the idea of this is a good investment. Look how much it's come already. I hope it will continue to rise. Right? That's the logical thinking mentality behind it. So they get in at a late stage of the market, and as they put in their investments for a very, very high price, the markets only gently take off, and then maybe even the recession might kick in and pull back in deeper. Okay? So let's take this logic onto the charts.